Rachel Reeves has just delivered Labour's first budget since 2010, marked by an historic £40 billion tax increase, the second biggest increase in history, aimed at addressing what she describes as the mess left by the previous Conservative governments. Reeves frames the tax rise and accompanying £32 billion in borrowing as necessary steps to rejuvenate public services and stabilise the economy. In her view, this budget is a once-in-a-parliament move designed to set Britain on a more sustainable path, though she refrains from ruling out further tax hikes over the next 5 years, insisting it would be irresponsible to make such a promise. The scale of the tax burden, reminiscent of Norman Lamont's 1993 hike, raises questions about the pressures Reeves faces, from health and social care to defence and education. Notably, she maintains that the previous government left £22 billion in unfunded spending, a black hole, forcing Labour to confront financial instability head-on. She addresses critiques comparing her approach to Jeremy Corbyn's expansive fiscal plans, asserting her commitment to transparency over financial reality rather than ideological expansion. However, with an unprecedented tax load, ambitious spending, the budget will likely test Labour's ability to balance voter expectations with its promises to stabilise the economy. And I certainly realise that the tax burden that was announced yesterday will have a fairly aggressive effect, and the coming weeks will reveal how middle income earners and businesses, and those scraping by like me, the likely bearers of this tax burden, adjust to Labour's bold fiscal stance, one that attempts to wipe the slate clean. And this morning, Rachel Reeves has done the round of broadcasters saying that there's a possibility there will be further tax rises. So wiping the slate clean on the one hand and risking eroding Labour's pledges of moderation in their economic approach on the other. There is no real moderation here. This is a swingeing cut at anybody who is perceived to be out of the ordinary, eccentric, and it doesn't really matter whether they are rich or whether they are scraping by. If they aren't in conventional PAYE on a low salary, they will be hit hard. So as I say, people like me who are slightly less conventional in our approach to employment will be hit very badly, and in fact so bad I don't think I can afford to stay. It's as simple as that. Much of my income comes from teaching, which is now going to have a 20% VAT added to it. So, that takes out most of my teaching, because my students won't pay, I don't think. But there we are. I opposed the VAT from the beginning because I thought that it was going to particularly affect those poorer students who were struggling with sort of SEND needs and so on. I hadn't immediately realised that it would affect the poorer students who come to me to top up the appalling education they receive from state schools. But I think that will be the case. I think that will be the death blow to tutoring and support, except for those people who have rich families that can afford it.